Hopefully it plays. Around 50,000. On. Two, three, 4.
It's 5:30. I'd like to say welcome to the Spring City Board of Commissioners
There's your copy.
at a
That's the
monthly
one.
workshop. We get started with our agenda here. We have a presentation from Lee Book. They're all different. Yeah. You'd like to go ahead with your presentation while they?
Yeah, but I request the Spring City to put up a flag at the nature park to celebrate America 250. But I marked on the grass dashes. I measured it out. If you want to remeasure, go right ahead. But at 205 feet, 205 feet from the power poles, electrical, and on the south side, and 205 feet from the pavilion, and 205 feet from the power poles to Highway 27. So, but anyway, the power can come from the pavilion. And I don't know but I expect that the pavilion has a 200 amp power breaker. So, but it already has fire there. And so that comes in question because why do we need a fire? Flag etiquette requires that the fire, if you don't take the flag down, rain remains up 24/7, you have to have electricity, a lot on it.
That's right.
that's where, like for where I got shot down. Because, but anyway. So that's where it comes into play. Chemcor, Florida has already awarded the contract. And they raised, right now, that today is $291,000. Going off there, Chemcor, Florida, the project is 250 feet and right by the ocean. So it's awarded for $430,000. Going off that figure, that's tax-free, it's all done by donation, no taxes, but anyway, therefore, it's right by the ocean. Going off those figures, I estimate 205 feet is, the power pole, the flagpole, at, $350,000. And that would be donation, from donations. So if you're from, say, South Dakota and you want to donate $10, I put that in there. That's the reason I put it in there. And somebody donated $10 to, for his granddaddy, or whoever, I think it's granddaddy, but fought in World War I. And, but there again, everybody's, there's been large risk, so, but that is example. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be a veteran, and you could be a patriotic audit and donate. You don't have to be a veteran. Y'all have any questions? But I can go on and on.
You're talking about $350,000 it would cost?
And tax-free. No, that's donations. Donations.
Are you talking about for Spring City?
Yeah,
Or for,
nature park.
yeah,
The flagpole is, going up to the nature park.
but you don't have this $350,000.
No,
So that would have to be
donations.
donations. So how long would you anticipate that taking to get that much money?
As long as it's done by this year, we don't have to go to 205, that's my goal. But we don't have to go that far, and so, but the taller the flagpole is, the more it costs. And so therefore, my original plan was Flag Day, June 14th. So that's, there's no time for June 14th. The Veterans Day is what I'm guessing. But as long as we do it this year.
See, my problem is, I don't see being able to raise this much money in a short period of time, because based on the donations we get even for Shake the Lake, I mean, it's not much. So,
That's the reason why there's, I request a donation page, non-profit donation.
You need to stop and think about what that flag represents versus fireworks for 4th of July. That flag represents the freedom that we have in this country to live.
well.
I would give money for that flag quicker than I would give money for fireworks. It's gonna be over in 30 minutes.
I mean, that's fine, but I just think we
what if we don't get it done this year? That's what
Yeah.
that's a thing.
We don't have to go to a 5, we can go smaller.
I understand that, but like, even if you go smaller, what if you don't get it done this year? What if you can't raise that much money in that amount of time for
We
that?
take that money and do whatever, but
I mean, you could still do a flagpole, but I'm just saying, if you do that, you can't set a date on it. You got, everybody to have to
That's
understand
correct.
that, but, you know.
Yeah, well, I agree with Kevin. I think you'd have to be pretty flexible when you talk
I
about
agree.
raising money by donations.
So who's gonna be in charge of the nonprofit?
Town of Spring City, just like it says.
Doesn't it have to be like, what is it, 501c3 organization? I don't know, I don't know the answer.
I think you only have to
Alice,
have
would
it
you like to
done.
elaborate on this issue, please, sir?
Yeah, there's two ways to do it. One way is for Lee to link with a 501c and raise the money, design the project, present the project to the city, have the city accept the project or not accept the project, because they're also accepting the maintenance of the flag and the flags and the electricity costs. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is for the city to be the ones that does the project. Lee would be able to give advice, but he wouldn't be able to give, I guess it would be all the board's decision at that point, because he's not an employee, so, or an elected, member. So that's the two ways to do it. One is that a 501c puts together all the money, designs the project, presents the finished project to the board to accept, and then accept the maintenance on the flagpole and the repairing of flags and the electricity. And then the second way would be for the board to do the project from raising the money itself to, the design, the construction, the maintenance. So there's two ways to do it.
Could Lee
If
be,
y'all want to do it.
could Lee be appointed to be over the fundraising on the second auction?
I don't know, I'm sure anything like that's possible that the board could decide would probably be okay. But that would be,
That would be one of those probably unasked questions.
yeah, I could ask him, find out. I don't know.
Let me ask something else. This is just a theoretical. Supposing we don't get enough money for this tall flagpole, I mean, however tall. Then, I understand that you wanted to be able to see it from the highway, is that the idea for Hazel Park? Okay, so if we don't get enough money to put a flagpole high enough to see it from the highway, would you consider putting a smaller flagpole at Veterans
Yeah,
Park?
he said that, he said he would go smaller if we didn't have to go 205. That's his, that's what he would like to do. You were signing checks, I know.
Isn't there a flag at,
Veterans Park,
by the
Yeah,
monument?
there is. There's a
how,
flag there.
how tall is that?
Talking about the nature park,
Yeah,
Hey, Mo.
I know, but I mean, at the Veterans Park, isn't there?
there's flags in there,
That's
yeah.
what I thought.
Okay, so we wouldn't need to do that,
At the nature park.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just saying about Veterans Park, being Veterans Park, that would be a good place, but if there's already a flag there, then, and whatever, then that would.
Well, I can see how Cape Coral raised it with a population of about 220,000 people. We're not 220,000 people.
But
We're not
there
gonna raise
again-
that kind of money.
We, somebody from South Dakota donate. You don't have to be Florida.
Well, we can probably get lucky doing it. I agree with, I'm a veteran too, so I agree with the flags, but I don't know if we can, that's all right for that. But,
We don't have to go to our, see what money we raise.
I agree.
What would the cost be for the electricity and the maintenance and all that? Do you have any idea?
They use good quality LED lights to light the flag up, because I did when I was in the military. They're low maintenance, low cost, they don't burn much juice.
Well, I'll also have to carry insurance on that flagpole too.
Oh, yeah.
And then replacing the flags, depending on, I know depending on the size of the flag, the more expensive they are.
And
Yeah, but here's the thing, you can take that flag right there and put it up the flagpole and it'd be legit. Would it
So
look
you-
stupid? Yes, it would. But there's nothing wrong with the thing of the smaller flag.
Okay, so depending on the size of the pole, you could, if we had a smaller flagpole, we would probably have a smaller.
No, you can put a small flag on the big pole.
Both ways.
Can't put a bigger flag on small one.
Yeah, 'cause
What he said.
I know I see it. I know I see the dollars.
So what size are you anticipating for the flag for that? big
Good question. 60 by 100,
60 by,
that's what's in the cookie.
60
60 by 100.
60.
and what was the cost on one flag like that size?
$2,500. They made it in Huntsville, Alabama.
And they, how, I know it's for damage that have to be replaced, but typically how long do you know?
We don't, there again, it all, you can take that flag and repair it, and I think, New there's some place in New that's who repairs the flags at the Ray County High School.
How did the high school go about getting their flag? Their flagpole?
That was before my time. That flag at the football field was installed in 92.
How tall that is?
Again, that was before my time.
Yeah, I just wondered how they financed it because I don't see the school board working over a lot of money.
But you gotta look at the height of their pole. Their pole is under 100 foot.
Is it?
Take into consideration the 92, what things cost also compared to.
And here's another thing, if we consider this is in the hands of the board, we have to go through, if it's put in Veterans Park, we have to communicate with nature. If we put it in the nature park, we have to communicate with TVA on placing it due to, they was the property purchasers of that, so we gotta get their 26A permit to put it in that established area. So that's another consideration.
Make a suggestion. If you do erect that flagpole, how did you get the American Legion to purchase the flags? Make sure we do that.
Did you approach the American Legion about this?
I sure did.
And what did they say?
That it, decided to go in another direction. But, I feel that they don't have the power and, pride and willpower to do what I do.
Do you personally, after talking to them, do you think that they would buy the flag? Or that they,
No.
wasn't that what we were talking about?
That's what he just said, that the American Legion would, he thinks would provide the flag.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said that you thought that they would, but what do you?
The flag is made in Huntsville, Alabama.
But
No, as far as the
She's wanting to know, are they gonna buy the flag? That's the bottom line.
That's what he just said that they would.
No, what was your answer?
The American Legion decided to go another route. That the flag is made in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, I was going on what he said, that he thought the American Legion would be willing to buy the flag, am I correct?
But you're talking about, you asked the American Legion about erecting the flag also, and that's what they decided to go in another direction on.
Yeah, so they possibly might consider, well, I'm thinking about replacing flags
The
or
future,
whatever.
yeah,
Replacing
we
flags.
can have a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Again, who's gonna say no to the flag?
Put it up on
Say no
water
to
tank.
spending money.
All right, folks, we're gonna put it on the agenda to vote on or not.
Put it on there.
Put it on.
Have some answers to the questions.
Y'all have any questions, feel free to ask.
Seek another resource, get resources of other information.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I'm just wondering about the particulars of it, how it would all come together and what the possibilities are.
Is it Alabama flag and banner in Huntsville?
I went down to Huntsville, and that's where I got the whole.
Mr. Booker, we have an idea. Put it up at the water tanks, and on the water tank, have them paint something about the flag.
But there again, if, that's a great idea. But if you're from, how do you get up there? If you're from, Georgia, say Georgia, and you don't know how to get up there, that's the reason.
Why would you want to go up there?
See,
I thought you just wanted to, I thought they could see it driving by on 27.
Your question will be answered when you see the pictures. One of the pictures, they're on the background.
Okay. Wouldn't have to have near as high a pole.
There's the
But if it's
pictures.
painted on the water tower, then you don't need a flag. Is that what you're saying?
No, we want the flag, but just, going out to TVA, how they,
Yeah.
You paint on the actual.
so
water
do
tower.
something like that on the water tank. Blow the flag. Just an idea.
It's on the agenda, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Number 2 on the agenda, we have a presentation from Flock representatives, answer questions from the commission.
We've got Terry and I'm sorry, and Jalen's block. Then you guys had some questions last month, decided to table it, so we get everything figured out. They're here, they're gonna do a short presentation, and then any questions you guys have. No, these are ours. One second. All right, well, that'll be good enough. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Kerry McCormack, and I'm on the Public Affairs team at Flock Safety. Thank you all for coming out tonight, Mayor, Commissioner. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you welcoming us to your city. I'd like to my colleague introduce himself as well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jalen Johnson. I'm on the Public Affairs team at Flock Safety as well. Thank you all for having us.
So Jalen is new on our team, so he's coming here to hang out with us tonight and to join the presentation. I'll provide about a 10-minute presentation and more than happy to take any questions or concerns that you might have. So we'll just start out with a quick overview of our company. So Flock Safety is an American company. We were founded and are headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, but we've got folks around the country. We work with about 6,000 law enforcement agencies as well as private customers around the country. And we are in 49 out of the 50 states. The one state we are not in is Alaska. And we serve communities and partner with law enforcement from small towns to big cities and everything in between. So we are truly, we pride ourselves in partnering with folks all around the country. We also have businesses that we work with, as I noted, and those could be mom and pop shops, those could be homeowners associations, all the way up to larger retail that are concerned with things like organized theft and other problems that they face. And as you can see, we're proud to partner with law enforcement every day to solve crime and make impact across the United States of America. So the first thing we'll talk about tonight is what's called a license plate reader camera, or sometimes commonly known as an LPR. So what a license plate reader camera is it is a fixed camera that is in the public right of way. So it's always on a public street in the community, and it takes photos of the street of vehicles as they pass by. So it captures the back of a vehicle, and I'll walk through that a little bit here. As you can kind of see here, we're going to have a better picture here in a moment, but it captures the back of the vehicle. So essentially what it will capture is the license plate as well as the back of the vehicle. The reason this is important is because most crimes that happen in the United States happen associated with a vehicle. So someone is driving a vehicle either during the crime, before, or after. And law enforcement have found that this tool is incredibly effective in identifying those individuals committing crime. So the way it works is vehicles that are associated with a crime. So this could be somebody all the way from a horrible crime like murder down to theft. The vehicles that are associated with crime are entered into law enforcement databases. So those are either national databases or local databases. So how would that work? Let's say there is a homicide that happens in Atlanta, Georgia, and they have a suspect of that homicide and the vehicle associated with it. That license plate would be put into a national registry because that vehicle is associated with that crime. Or let's say locally, a local shop is robbed, and let's say they get video of the vehicle, like the shop's video of the vehicle, and they can see the license plate. Your police department can take that information and also put it into a hot list of vehicles that are associated with crime. The other major lists that are out there would be Amber Alerts, so those are missing children, whether they were abducted or whether they've gone missing, as well as Silver Alerts. So Silver Alerts are senior citizens that have cognitive challenges. So that might be memory loss, dementia, things like that. Every day in our country, unfortunately, our seniors that have those challenges go missing. And so the technology is also able to integrate with Silver Alerts. Again, those are those senior citizens. So the way it works is if a vehicle associated with a crime, a missing child, or a senior in trouble passes by one of the cameras, it will send a ping, a notice to your police department to say, hey, that vehicle associated with the crime or the missing child or the missing senior just passed this camera at this location. So what it allows the police to do is to really focus their limited resources so then they can go respond to that scene, and hopefully whether it's an individual that's missing or a child, help that individual, or if it's someone that committed a crime, to make a traffic stop and apprehend that individual. A couple of really important components of this as well. Again, gets the back of the vehicle and the plate. It is not tied into BMV information or personal information. So just as your officers would do today without the cameras, if they make a traffic stop, they can run the license plate through their existing systems, approach the vehicle, engage the individual. That's what they would do with or without our technology. They still would do that with the technology. So the cameras help locate the vehicle, but all of the process after that, law enforcement still does what they would normally do through their regular procedures. And just as another note too, the question sometimes we get, well, hey, if I'm driving down the street, my vehicle is not tied with a crime or missing person, no notification is given. So there's no alert. Your police department is not made aware of that. So for everybody else that's driving down the street that is not tied to a crime or a missing person, no notification is given. The other part of the system is your police department can look back 30 days. So the way that works is, let's say, and this happens commonly, the police department finds out about a crime a couple days later, or they get a lead or a new hint or clue in a case. What they can do is they can take the evidence of the vehicle associated with the crime or the missing person, and they can search to see if that vehicle passed a camera in the last 30 days. Now, what's important is when they do that, we'll talk about this more in a minute, they've got to have a reason that they document to do that. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So this just gives an idea of what the cameras catch. Again, the back of the vehicle, that license plate, you can see, you can make out the vehicle make, body type, color, those features here. So here you would see a black Chevrolet with the license plate. Again, it is not capturing the people in the vehicle, no facial recognition. It does not capture anything about the person in the vehicle, nor the DMV record. So that's all stuff that our law enforcement partners then go to their existing systems to run that information. So this just gives you kind of an image of what that catches. This slide just shows that it works at night. We know that crime and missing people also travel at night. So the cameras are able to catch these photos in the dark at night. So then that is the license plate reader. The other product we'll talk about tonight are live cameras. So this is what you would think it is. It is a live camera. So they are live feed cameras that your police department has access to, that they can move 30 days of film is kept, and your police department can utilize those cameras in search 30 days if they need to. So let's say a crime happens in a park or on a road, just like if you had a personal camera, your police department can utilize these cameras for live feed on whatever's going on. So the license plate reader is a photo. This is a recorded feed for safety and security purposes that your police department can use. Same thing with the license plate reader. The information is deleted after 30 days. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, why that's important.
One thing, when he says move, it's pan tilt,
Yes.
not physically move the camera.
That's right. So the camera can pan tilt to catch a different angle, but it's stationary. It's in one place. Thank you. So exactly that. So the PTZ, pan, tilt, zoom, you're able to move the camera. So let's say it's in a park or on a road. Your officers, let's say they're having an issue in one part or the other, remotely they can maneuver it to catch different angles. So that's an important component of it. It's a very high quality camera. And we also have the fixed video as well. So these are very high quality. They work at night as well. Oftentimes, cities and police departments will put them in areas where they have a lot of problems, a lot of traffic, those types of issues, to ensure that they can either look at them live or they can go back 30 days to take a look in case there's an incident. So these tools are really important for our law enforcement partners across the country, sheriffs, state police, local police, but also privacy and transparency is critical, not only to Flock, but to our customers and the communities that we work in. So I'm just going to review a little bit about that. So there is no quiz on this. I was a second grade teacher for 2 years, but I'm not quizzing people, I promise. But I'm just going to walk through a couple of these important components because they're really important for the integrity of the system and for the community as well. On the left-hand side, on this white section, the first check says data is 100% owned by customers and never sold. So when we say data there, we're talking about the photos taken by the camera or the video recordings taken by the camera. Each community, by contract, owns that footage or owns those photos. So your community controls that and controls if and with whom you want to share that information with. Also, that information is never sold. So you might think of, whether it's, I don't know, a social media site or something, or you could shop online and they collect what you're shopping for and then they sell that information, something like that. That does not happen in our system. Those private customers, so that mom and pop shop or the retail shop or the homeowners association has no access to that government data or hot lists. So your local police department, your sheriff, your state police, they have law enforcement systems that they use in order to apprehend folks that have committed crime, find missing children, things of that nature. It's important to highlight that our private customers have no access to that information. So a private customer could give information to the police. Let's say they had an issue of crime on their property, but they get nothing in return. So there's a really important differentiation. The third component, that 30-day period. So this is kind of a happy median of preserving the photos or video for law enforcement purposes, while also creating a finite timeline so that that information isn't just sitting out there forever. So after 30 days, the video and the photos are hard deleted and unrecoverable. The only exception of that is your police department has the ability to download it if a crime occurs or if they spot a missing person or whatever it might be. So if they get a hit on the camera, let's say a car goes by with a missing child in it, your police department can download that footage to preserve it for investigatory purposes and then for future prosecution. But outside of that, all the photos and videos permanently delete after 30 days. Our license plate readers, again, they only take images of publicly available information. So that is a state-issued license plate on a public road. So that's what it captured, and we talked a little bit earlier in more detail about that. And if your agency decides to share, that is completely under your control. So what does sharing mean and why might you want to do it? So today, with or without our technology, your local law enforcement collaborates, I would imagine, with folks in your region, in your state, and potentially around the country. So that could be collaborating on a retail theft or collaborating on a missing child. Our law enforcement partners, they talk to each other because we know that crime or missing people, they don't just stop right at the border of your town. That moves between towns. So what the technology allows is your police department can share access to those photos and information with other towns around you, if they want to share with the state police, as well as folks out of your state. But importantly, that is completely up to you all as a community, up to local control, if and with whom you share with. This right side of the screen, if you are really into computers, this is probably making you excited, but for everybody else, including myself, these are all of the certifications of cybersecurity that our company and platform is consistently going through. So the FBI, National Defense Authorization Act, the SOC 2 and ISOs, those are third-party tests to stress test our system. to make sure our system is cyber safe, that no one's breaking into it. So those are external tests to make sure that no one's breaking into our system. And those are really, really important tests that we run on a regular basis to ensure that our cyber and technical systems are safe. A couple other quick notes here, really important here on the left. Any officer at your PD, or let's say you share with someone nearby, every person that engages your system, they're required to have an ID as well as an offense type. So what does that mean? That means if Officer Carey goes into the system to look for a license plate associated with a crime, A, you're gonna know that I'm in there, that I'm in the system, when I was in the system, what I was looking for, what the results were, as well as I have to put in there, it's mandatory, why I'm in the system. So I'm in the system looking for someone committed a homicide, theft, a missing child. And all of that information is kept in an information trail, in a log forever. So the photos and the videos are deleted after 30 days, but the activity is recorded and kept forever. And why is that important? That's important to ensure that the system is being used as it should, because everybody knows all of the activity on the system is permanently audited and it has a permanent log to it. And if there's ever a question, the good news is you can go into that audit log and see over time exactly how the system was used. Really important component for transparency. And on the right-hand side, this is just an example of a public website that's available that kind of just gives you information about the system. So how many cameras, what they're capturing, what they're not capturing, just more of a public information pool. So a couple quick myths and facts, and I'll run through these quickly. The LPR cameras, they take a photo, a point-in-time photo, and again, we discussed earlier that the only reason the police department gets a notification is if that vehicle is connected with a crime or missing person. So they are not, saying Carrie drove down the street to the supermarket. Your PD has no idea about that. Our technology, not just our company, but the cameras as a whole, uniformly across the United States have been ruled constitutional and not against the Fourth Amendment. We already talked about the fact that data, those photos are never sold, and that those private customers cannot have access into your local law enforcement's information. Really important firewall there. The cameras do not use facial recognition. So for folks that are familiar with facial recognition, if you know someone, maybe that on their cell phone, that they can unlock it with their face, or at the airport, that type of technology is out there. Our cameras do not use it. So they do not use facial recognition, and they do not collect private information about you. We have seen and been supported by folks like the NAACP for showing that this is a tool that gives objective evidence, which is really important. In cities across the country that utilize the technology have seen much higher clearance rates, so they're catching folks that do bad things and finding missing people, and they also can serve as a deterrent as well. So this is just kind of a snapshot across the country of real life. These are all news stories. We did not create them, of examples of how our technology has been used to make impact on reducing crime. Here in the great state of Tennessee, over 140 law enforcement agencies partner with Flock as a tool to support the men and women in uniform. Here are just a few right here that utilize the technology. And I'm not going to read all these, I promise, but just you can read the headline. This is a stolen vehicle in Knoxville that was found and returned using the technology. A domestic homicide suspect that also here in Tennessee that was found and arrested using that technology. So again, when they've identified that suspect, those officers are putting that plate in the system to find that individual. Out-of-state drug trafficking in Lebanon was also busted Again, great police work, but utilizing our technology as a tool. And this is just a quick story that we like to tell, real life story, August 28th of 2020, that just kind of paints the picture of the technology. So unfortunately, a baby was abducted in August 28th, 2020, and mom called police, law enforcement. At 12:30 p.m., an Amber Alert was issued. At 1:01 p.m., the local PD in Chamblee, Georgia, took the plate of the individual that abducted the child, put it into the Flock system. That plate at 2:30 hit a camera. So that vehicle associated with the abduction passed by a camera. So then that camera sent a message to the police department to say, hey, this license plate you just put in connected to that missing child just passed one of our cameras. 5:03 p.m., officers were able to find that individual, make a felony stop, and arrest that individual. And at 6 p.m., the baby was reunited with his mother. So you can imagine, from the worst day of her life, this was great police work, but our technology really helped the law enforcement officers find and apprehend this individual. We're proud of our partners. So folks like the National Center for Missing and Endangered Children fully support our technology because of the amount of children it's helped bring home. Mothers Against Drunk Driving as well. And like we said earlier, been recognized by, this is the Oakland NAACP, for being objective evidence and reducing bias, which is really important. And that's all I got. Happy to answer any questions.
My questions were answered on the presentation, so I'm good.
How many cameras are there? We're on 27. Would it be just on 27, or would it be on 68, or?
So we're still working with Flock's engineers to, we're looking at 2 LPRs now and 1 live cam. We're still hearing back from the county to know exactly where theirs are at, because this gives us access. Right now we've got temporary access, we're on a MOU through Flock, giving us temporary access as a trial. So once we know, we don't want to stack a camera right where the county's already got one up the road. We want to utilize the few we're getting to expand that. So probably 1 on 27, 1 on 68.
If you have 1 camera there, is it shooting both directions, or is it just 1 for each direction?
No, it'll be 1 for, so eventually we're going to have to buy more. Right now our focus is coming into what's coming in. So we know who's here. And we've already used this trial to help locate. County had a stolen vehicle on Kings Hill. They stole the vehicle, came into Spring City, stole a license plate at the Silk Mill to put on that stolen vehicle. We located the vehicle in North City using these cameras. Without, well, we would have no idea. Hopefully sometime somebody runs that tag and it hits on something. So even though we're going to be small start now, it gives us nationwide.
So who all would we be sharing information with?
Nobody in the public. It never gets shared.
But I mean, which
It depends. It would for sure we'd share with county, Dade City's got some. Locally, if they're willing to share with us, we're willing to share with them.
And Commissioner, it's only law enforcement, sworn officers and law enforcement.
Also, in the event that one of these cameras just blows up, who would be in charge of replacing that camera, and how much would that cost?
Yep, so the short answer to your question is that essentially if it's an act of God, or if there's an issue with the camera or something like that, we take on that responsibility. There's no cost to the city. Let's say it is vandalized, then usually what we refer folks to is to file with insurance. A lot of times that will cover it. But we work with our partners, we want them to be up and helping out. So there's no hard line on that, but we are responsible for regular maintenance, any updates. Let's say one out of your cameras isn't quite operating the way you want it to, we replace that. So that is contractually all on us.
And they run solar, correct?
Yes, sir, so they're solar operated.
We don't have a VC bill coming in and pay for it.
That's correct, there's no electric bill, and they run on cellular networks.
So the police department would determine who they want to share information with.
But other law enforcement.
Yeah.
So right now, generally, as far as Tennessee's concerned, most agencies share with one another, TVA being the main exception to that because they're federal, so they don't share a lot.
Imagine that. Okay, then I've looked up, Google, and I understand that there have been some lawsuits, with law. And some you have won, some you have not won. So, in the event that the city were sued and fought and flogged, who would pay for those legal fees? Would that be
So-
covered by insurance, or would that be?
Yeah, so I guess sued for, I'm trying to figure out what reason.
Well, like, amendment, like.
Oh, for like Fourth Amendment?
Whatever, Fourth Amendment
Yeah.
violations. One, I had seen, 2 or 3.
Yep, so we defend those in court, the flat them. So we have a legal team, so for example, when there's a challenge on the Fourth Amendment, generally when there is, it will invoke several companies, it won't just be Flock. And we have, legal teams that, can defend those in court. And again, uniformly across 11 federal districts, they have ruled that, LPRs do not violate the Fourth Amendment.
I saw something, I don't know, and we're looking through it. I saw the couple that lost.
Yep. So
I don't know where it was.
there was a outlier case in Virginia, that ruled the opposite way, but then the US District Court overruled them. So they were reversed.
I was wondering about the legal.
Yeah, it's a really important question, absolutely.
Question. When the LPR picks up a tagger, how is the officer notified? Is it through dispatch?
So there is a interface that your officers will have. So on the computers, in their dispatch or in this building, I imagine. And they can also have it on their phone if they've got a city issued phone. And they have a secure platform that they have to log into, again, with that unique ID. And that's how they would receive the alert. So your PD will make the decision of which officers have access. And then they will get a unique profile and login where then they can receive those alerts.
How long is the delay from the time the LPR picks it up before the officer would get it?
It's under 60 seconds. So it depends a little bit, 30 to 40 seconds. So it's quick. Yeah, and it's gotta be, because if you got a missing child or someone fleeing, you want your officers knowing about that quickly.
What if they don't have their phones on?
Yeah, if they don't, so what,
Like you did to it.
I guess then that would come in here, and then they could radio, I would imagine, radio out to the officers in the street. So let's say,
They could be in Rockwood, then.
I'm sorry?
I said they could be in Rockwood, then.
Oh, the individual, well, and that's a part of the reason why that collaboration is important, because let's say you're working with a neighboring community and an individual wanted hits one of your cameras, it'll ping you guys, And then also, it would ping their camera too if you're sharing information. So that your departments can collaborate on that, absolutely. And you see that, missing children or people, they end up 3-4 states away sometimes. It's really frightening, so. The other thing I would note is it's on a limited contract. And at the end of your contract, the product has either earned your business and it's working really well, or it hasn't. And if it hasn't, you have a period of time where you can say, we're done, and you can walk away, and at our expense, we pull up the cameras and turn them off. So we believe that it'll be a value add and it'll work well for the community, but in the case that the community thinks otherwise, this is not a 10 to 20, 30 year contract, anything like that. So at the end of that period, you have the option to opt out of it and walk away. So we pride ourselves in the fact that we gotta earn your business. We gotta show value add.
And we have a resolution that's been tabled. If you want to move that tabled resolution to the full board next month, you're welcome to.
Is there anything that would need to be changed on it?
It's fine. Even the resolution number would stay the same.
So good. Put it on. We'd like to say thank you for coming and bringing the presentation to us. Cleared up a lot of questions.
We're happy to, and Mayor Commission, if you have any other questions, before you go to bed tonight, you think of something, they know how to get us, and we're happy to follow up with any additional questions that you might think of or anything like that. We're here as a resource.
Yeah, we appreciate you answering all the questions, and I had several, and I have several more this week, so, that cleared things up a lot.
Absolutely. We fully understand there is a balance between privacy and public safety that all of us in our society have to think about every day, so we appreciate that.
You may have already said that, what's the cost for 2 cameras?
So, you have them. So,
We don't know.
I think we get it on our original stuff.
2,000, I think it's $2,100.
it's 2,160, 21,650 a year. Yes, sir.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's the total.
Oh,
That'll be for the-
yeah, for the 3 years.
For the
I'm
3-year
sorry.
contract,
That's right.
that's not, we can pay it
So
all up front
The
or.
whole, yeah, so the whole system is 6,500 a year for 1 year.
That's 21,000 for 3.
21,650
For the 3
3
years. Over 3 years.
We do have money, but
over $7,000 a year.
And the money is in the budget already, as Chief said.
Thank you all so much for having us, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, number 3 is discussion of, proposed ordinance 0-2026-2, adopting and approval of the town's of Spring City's travel policy as presented. We've already had the readings on that. Anybody got any questions? Ready now. All right. Moving on, number 4, discussion proposed ordinance 0-2026-3, adoption and approval of an ordinance of amended section 5.05, principal building on a lot, section 9.07A, 1 principal structure on each lot of the zoning ordinance of the town of Spring City, Tennessee. Any question, discussion about it? Where's it on? 5, discussion of proposal ordinance 0-2026-4, an ordinance amending the Spring City zoning ordinance to create a section 9.14 to regulate smoke shops and vape shops within the incorporated limits.
Who's on there?
Number 6, discussion of the proposed resolutions 2026-17, and resolutions of the town of Spring City, Tennessee, accepting the TBA's option B regarding the tracks X, TWBR-19 and XTWBR-91E, and authorizing the mayor to execute all the necessary documents. Explain that, sir.
Yes, sir. What this is the Spring City Resort Marina has a lease through the city that the land has been leased by us from TVA. So TVA leases to us and we lease to them. This is a commercial venture that they're doing. And what they want to do is do a deed modification to allow more commercial recreational use in that marina. And this allows that. This is going to be no cost to the city. This is a very big value for them. They were able to negotiate with TVA to get the deed modification lowered. Very expensive, so they negotiated very well. It's no cost to them. We can't spend any money on it, and we won't. They'll cover all the costs, all the surveys, all the deed modifications, all the attorney fees, and then once they're done, they'll be able to possibly build a water park, build a hotel, build some yurts, some more cabins, whatever they choose, pretty much. We'll probably see the plans before they move forward, but this allows them to do a deed modification that would allow them to move forward with their process. So they've been held up until the deed modification. They got an avenue. The TVA board granted them to do it. And then they have to then get approval from the governing body here before the final step, before they can move forward with the deed modification. And that's what this is granting that to them.
What about public access, once they get this approval? I know that property was supposed to be accessible by the public. Is that gonna be affected?
I don't know. I think all this is a deed modification to allow commercial recreation. So what that means by commercial is for profit. So it's a touchy thing because cities are nonprofit, and then we're leasing to a for-profit, which is a marina. So it's a weird dynamic going on, and but the TVA has granted the deed modification. But I don't know if it's still kind of like their property, like you were.
I think that's what they feel like already.
Could be, yeah.
I think anything under the 750 line is public property.
That's true. Anything under 750 is law.
Anybody that lives on a lake, if somebody wants to go below your 750.
Yeah, they can walk on your shore all day.
And if they put, like, they've already got them cabins over there, so if they put something to rent over there, the public can go over there and rent them. But, I mean, they're not, you're talking about like if they try to put a water park in, I'm assuming that, like, you'll put free or whatever.
Well, I'm thinking like, boat launching and things like that.
That shouldn't change at all, because that ain't
They
part
have
of it.
That don't.
No, boat ramp belongs to TWRA.
All that,
They just want to build buildings.
yeah, that's a whole different setup, and they've already got that. The only thing changing is the part that they didn't.
Now, will they have to come before the city for approval on projects that they?
I would say they'd go in front of the planning, zoning boards and everything, to get permission for what they're gonna build. It'd be sort of like site plans, my guess. They're gonna come up with a site plan, bring it in front of the planning, zoning, and have their approval.
Because when they first started, they had a lot of grandiose ideas that they presented to us, and none of it happened. So I'm kind of curious to see what they have in mind. In other words, I don't really trust them.
This was the roadblock stopping all their building and all their ideas. This was the roadblock, was the deed modification, and they were able to negotiate that.
And
They couldn't do anything without TVA telling them they could do it.
Yeah, and they apparently didn't know this to begin with when they were,
Yeah, but the way that they, yes, they knew that, but when they come in here, we told them that once they got set up, we would facilitate that. Well, we got to that point, and then the previous person in there was making them, holding them to the fire. The previous city manager was holding them to the fire, making them pay before she would even talk to TVA because they got a little behind. So,
well, I mean, they owed money and they
yes,
didn't pay it.
and that, well, they did start paying because she was making them before she would do any of that stuff. She done, but it sounds like they done an end around anyway, just went straight to TVA.
And believe it or not, the deed modification cost is $200,000 to $300,000.
Yeah, see, they will want the city to pay for that. We never agreed to pay for it.
We can, from what I understand, right?
Do what?
I said, and I don't think we can. Legally, we cannot do it anyway.
No, but that's what they were wanting to happen. And then we said no, so I think that's part of it.
I have a question on this picture here. Over here on the side over here by the marina where the boat docks. This is that area where, right at the bottom of all that housing where they had those campers and stuff. Are they wanting to try to do something there because that was, because they can't.
They'll submit all their plans to the.
Yeah, they'll submit, but that,
They just got approval, that's all they got.
Yeah.
Where they can move forward, they ain't got nothing to bring up or anything.
What does the
Somebody
city
else is
make
gonna
off
bring it
that
up.
lease?
What is the lease? How much, what do we get off the lease?
I think it's like $2,400 a month now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Then that's
Would be
very
Then we
renegotiated.
get hotel motel.
And then we get, they got those cabins, we get the hotel motel tax from them, like, when they rent them out, you get tax on that also.
And from the restaurant also.
Yeah,
Did it not used to be, it was a certain percentage of their profits.
Yeah, that's an additional thing.
yeah.
Right, Brenda?
It's one or the
Plus
other.
the food, the restaurant, they get a percentage of that too.
Whichever one is higher, I believe, either percent of their profits or a lump sum fee. So if they do improve this area, in theory, they could make more money, you would see it more money.
good,
What they're-
good.
we don't understand.
All right. Moving on. Number 7, discussion proposed resolution R 2026-18, resolution to approve the sections of the Tennessee River Line hiking and snorkel event and authorizing the use of portable restrooms and related events support in connection with the Laurel Day. Laurel Day.
Stacy.
Are they, are we talking about
This is-
providing
this-
restrooms?
Porta
Porta potties?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
What this is that we're in the Tennessee River Line, and we're required to do 2 events a year. We've already done the cleanup event, this will be our second event with the River Line, the hiking and the snorkeling event. And what this is, they're gonna do it on the same day as Laurel Day Day, and there'll be porta potties will be put out there by the Pine River.
So that would cover what part of
So, expect all the boxes in. I think these people don't do, a lot of them.
This is a partnership with the Tennessee River Line, the UT Knoxville. They're gonna actually do a shuttle bus from the park to the Piney River hiking area and where they're snorkeling. It's gonna be 20 people for hiking, 20 people for snorkeling. It's also, let's see. UT Knoxville, the Tennessee Aquarium is also gonna help us with advertisement for this, since they're gonna be here for the Laurel Day Day.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we had just discussion about it when we had the Tennessee Riverline Conference. Everybody that was involved in the project was discussing that. So this will be a neat event to bring more people to our community and see what other assets we have.
They would start all in the creek.
I checked it out, I said they could do it. I won't be an issue.
I'll go see it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, moving on. Number 8 has been, discussion of proposal resolution R 2026-19, a resolution authorizing the town of Spring City to apply for the Tennessee Highway Safety Officers Grant.
Which is where we need permission to apply for a grant. It's a no-match grant from Tennessee Highway Safety Office. It's a no-match grant, it's the same one we've done for the last 3 years.
Put it on there, put it on there.
Okay, number 9 on your page has been dropped. Number 10, discussion proposed resolution R 2026-21, resolution declaring certain police department vehicle surplus and authorizing the disposal by public internet auction through govdeals.com.
That's we've got 2 more vehicles that's ready to sell in Bell Hills, this additional surplus. That's these vehicles, it's not city vehicles.
Put it on.
Number 11, discussion of proposed resolution R 2026-22, resolution approving payment of the town of Spring City share of host fees of related costs to the volunteer number 5 Bass Fishing League fishing tournament. This is a replacement for the one that was canceled. And, actually, this one comes in a little less.
There's about $150 left.
We got our money back, is what I was told earlier today by the city.
Yes, we got our money back.
Yep, I'm good.
That's all I have for my section. I do feel we have some, yes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
I'm Linda Abel with, an agency of United Way, the Gray County Imagination Library. Jill Romanelli, Spring City resident, is also on our board, and we have some other volunteers that are not here. I hope in your package you have some information that I provided. Last year we were here and asked for some money. We've redone our figures according to, the amount of children that we had enrolled as of February 12th of this year. And if you have that document, it's just like this. City of Dayton and Ray County and Rayville and Spring City. At that time, we had 101 children that actually lived in the city limits of Spring City. So the cost for them is $30 a child, times 101 would be $3,000 and $3,030. Now, we're required to pay half of that, so that would be $1,515. The legislators in Nashville pay the other half. So, we were asking for, $1,500 from Spring City to pay for your children that live in the city limits. And if you're not familiar with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, this is a program that serves children birth till their 5th birthday. When they enroll, we hope they enroll when they're born, but they get a free book in their name mailed to them every month. It is not based on the amount of money the parents make, we don't care. It's free to them. We hope that starts a love of books and literacy, and it also builds a relationship with the parent, the caregiver, the grandparent, whoever they live with, stay with, that they spend, 10 to 15 minutes a day with that child in their lap. They're learning that reading is fun, it's not a chore, and that we have tons of research that show that, and I'm a retired teacher, so I can kind of vouch for this. I've seen children that have come to school that haven't had this program, that don't know what a book is. I've seen children that have been in this program the first 5 years of their life, they're almost a year ahead. The children that are not in this program are almost a year behind. And in 9 months of school in kindergarten, you cannot hardly make up a year. So they're starting at a deficit. And I know that you, the City of Graceville, City of Dayton, County Commission, everybody works hard to bring in industry and things that, we want jobs for people. And I was talking with Alex Green, who's the head of the Economic Development Council. He said that what his advisory council tells him and all the people that he meets with, they cannot find people in Ray County that know how to read. So what you can do is help him and help these kids that go to Spring City Elementary or go to middle school and high school and hopefully on to college, is get that start. And you can provide that by helping us pay for these books. A lot of people think that Dolly pays for these books. She does not pay for these books. Dolly does a lot of good things with her money, but part of our responsibility as being an affiliate is raising that money. So we take that seriously, and I'm happy to answer any questions. One final thing, I put this up there tonight. This is just an example. Our books are currently running, they have an address label. I cut the address and the name of the child off, but it's got the return address. They go back to United Way. But for several months, anybody that has donated to us, it could be an individual, a group. Right now, it is saying sponsored by Rotary Club of Dayton. We got a $5,000 grant from them last year. It's getting ready to say sponsored by City of Dayton. We talked to them a couple of months ago. They just gave us $8,000 to cover all the children that live in the City of Dayton. And so I'm the one that changes that, and I'm more than happy to say sponsored by Spring City, Tennessee. So y'all need to discuss that, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, if I can answer them tonight.
Sarah?
Yes, sir. Or more.
How much did you say, 15?
15.
1,500.
15. Well, I just want to say it is an awesome thing. The books are high quality books.
Yes.
They're very age appropriate books, and the books are awesome. My granddaughter, she's 9 now, but when she was little, she got to look at them. It's like a happy surprise.
It is, and it's addressed to the child. It has a parent's name on it, but it's to the child.
Right.
They get very excited to go to the post office or to their mailbox to get their book from Miss Dolly. And, most likely they're never gonna meet Dolly Parton. But there's a flap in the back of the book that tells you, here's some things you can do with this particular book. But there's also a flap in the front that's a letter from Dolly. And we are hoping to, at the Strawberry Festival and Kids Night, which is I think May 4th, that Monday night, have a little graduation photo booth for all the kids that have graduated, like from July of last year through June of this year, which is 400 or 500 kids. So we've not done anything like that before. It may be total mayhem, but that's okay. It's not usually is. But we want to recognize them, and we've had a lot of good success with this program.
One thing that I think maybe emphasizes the importance of this anymore is the fact that Spring City Head Start has been closed. I mean, they've been closed for a few years now, and at one time, some kids had the opportunity who wouldn't have had it otherwise to go to Head Start and learn. But now that's not an option for a lot of kids, and makes this even more important.
And there's not a lot of daycares. You know, even in Dayton, there's a lot of people privately doing that, but there's only two in Dayton even. So, you know, we've got to get, and a lot of kids don't have funds. That's one thing that, I was surprised in my research. We're talking about, on 2025 Federal Reserve economic data, Fred, Ray County has a 13.8% or 14% poverty rate, but it's 21.4% for our children. And that's gonna be families that don't have money to buy books, they don't have gas money to go to a library. How are we gonna get them books? Well, let's mail them one. And that will get them started. But, you know, and there's all kind of research you can look at. If kids can't read by the third grade, they're more likely to be a criminal, be incarcerated. Lots of research that shows that most of your people that are incarcerated don't read above a fourth grade level. Like a crime, you know, if they could have had that good education and a good start, they might not be sitting in a jail. And early literacy is also early workforce development. And this is what, you know, the people that are trying to help you get jobs in here, this is what they're telling us. So I feel like we're the perfect vehicle to, we can help each other. We can help each other.
This is something, I really wanted the splash pad, because that was something that people could take their kids to, and it was free. Something local that they could even walk to in the city limits, it was free. And this is kind of the same thing. This is a free thing that parents can do with their children.
Yes.
Free to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good program.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Would it have to be part of the budget, right?
Yes, that's what we're asking, to go in fiscal year
As long as
2027.
it's already the money set aside.
So, as of right now, I understand it where it could be $1,500, $15 that you're requesting the council to put, the commissioners to put on the budget, but the budget won't be approved until, July. But your request is fine to put on there, and then when they do the budget meetings, that's when it'll be decided if it's allowed to be stated.
Okay. And I provided that DCA, that we found out last year, it couldn't be a recurring line item to a nonprofit, it has to be a resolution. So I think I provided that in that stuff I brought. Anyway, I've talked to lots of MTS people and made sure we did it the right way, or our request was done the right way.
Do that too.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And get up here. Legislator. I'm Chester Kaufman, I think most of you know me, the treasurer for Cedar Lighthouse Center. And, we'd like to request $1,000 or more if you guys could donate to us. The reason we asked this, we asked for a $5 donation at the center. Last week we had 99 people there, and only we had $495 out of 99 people. It should have been over $600. So we're running in the red a lot. And this $1,000 or whatever you do so kind of give us to keep us in the black for a couple of months anyhow. And we did talk to the county attorney. You know, we're a 501c. We run this place on donations. So the county attorney says that we can charge a color charge, a door charge. So starting next month, we're gonna start charging $6 each per person. Now, we might lose a few people, but the ones we lose probably the ones that not giving us stuff anyhow. So I hope you consider donating to us. Thank you. Get down that ball.
That's another one that's being budgeted.
You got anything, sir?
Yes, sir. One thing, will be a special event permit application coming in front of the board, on April 2nd for the 2026 Kids Fun Fair, on April 11th through the 12th. Special event permit, you guys can look at. That'll be a good mini carnival on the grass out there. There will not be a road closure.
It's the same group that came to us last year. They came in and set up for the kids carnival and left us.
The paving has been delayed until April 13th, is what I was told by JB Paving, that's JB Asphalt.
April when?
13th, on Monday.
I don't feel bad because Athens got put behind too. They will start in Athens next week. Scarborough said they won't be there till, like I said, they actually hate. It's they have.
Well, I don't feel so bad now. I did feel some for
Linda, you got anything? Anybody else got anything? If not, like I say, go ahead, you're easy.
If you saw on social media, there will be a blood mobile here tomorrow from, what is it, 11 o'clock?
I believe so. I think their original was wrong. I think it's 12 to 5.
Sometime tomorrow, there'll be a blood mobile here, so if you can get here to donate blood, one donation will help 3 people. You know anybody else that donates blood would like to? I think they're giving away a $25 gift card or something.
Yeah, it's $25 for every donor.
For every donation.
All lines clear? Yep. Meeting adjourned.